Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here's a re-uploaded video of my Paleo combo deck. So I made some mistakes yesterday and I didn't mean to do that, so I had to immediately take out the video I uploaded. And I figured I'd just try again and make sure I do everything correctly. I thought the Paleo trap cards can chain off of each other once you activate a normal trap, but apparently you can't. So I just wanted to make sure I do this correctly, and that way you guys don't misplay this deck, and especially because of me. So anyway, I took some time to study up on how the deck properly functions, and I think I pretty much got it now. So like I normally do it, I'm just going to do two test hands like I always do, and just kind of give you guys an idea how the deck plays, what's the deck's win condition, and all that good stuff. So yeah, so this is a very back row heavy deck, runs no spells if you haven't caught the deck profile already. In fact, it's just monsters and traps only. Like that's what basically all this deck does, is just do a lot of back row, but you also want to take full advantage of the frog engine as well as Lilith to get access to your traps. And with the frogs, you also need to rely on your totally awesome a lot. So yeah, all right, so let's see what our opening hand is. Okay, Solemn Judgment, that's pretty good. Oh, Swap Frog, that's always nice. Okay, we got Lilith. If I have another water monster, I could easily get away with normal summoning Lilith, but let's see. Okay, Ash Blossom and Lost Wind. Okay, so unfortunately, I don't have a way to abuse Swap Frog too much, so we're probably going to use him as our normal summon for right now. Let's see here. So I think the best thing to do is, for sure you want to go ahead and set the Solemn Judgments and the Lost Wind. If you wanted to, you could normal summon Lilith, just so you can have access to one of your traps already, and you could save Swap Frog for later. So you know what, let's do that instead. We're actually going to go ahead and save the Swap Frog for right now. We're actually going to go ahead and normal summon Lilith. Use Lilith's effect to tribute herself. You pick out any three traps. They don't even have to be different names. Which case you might as well just go for one of your Paleo cards. So I'll probably just go for Canadia, since it's a Book of Moon. You definitely want to prevent your opponent from link climbing, Xyz, or Synchro. And Canadia is usually the best way to go about that. So, like, your opponent picks one at random. I mean, they're all the same card, so either way, one gets set, the rest go back to the deck and get shuffled in. And you can pretty much just leave it at that. You got Solemn Judgment, Lost Wind, and Canadia. That's 3 disruptions already, plus the Ash Blossom in hand, so that's 4. So, yeah, your opponent, like, summons one monster, and sometimes Solemn Judgment is usually enough just to stop them. So, like, they commit to their normal summon early on, and they have no follow-up play to that Solemn Judgment. True, it may cost you half your life points, but at least, you know, you definitely stopped your opponent in their tracks. So, next card we draw, okay, Illinoides. So, in which case you can pretty much go ahead and normal summon the Swap Frog, and use this effect to send a frog to the grave. I always go Ronin Totem. Like, that's always going to be your best choice right there. And then from there, you just set the Illinoides, and yeah, that's really all you keep doing. It's just like you just keep hitting with back row and just keep going. And eventually you'll be able to bring out your Paleo cards from back from the grave one at a time, and just keep going from there. So, like, that's just the general idea. So let's say, you know, you end your turn after just setting that Illinoides, your opponent tries again, you Book of Moon his card, that's that. Okay, he sets a couple back row during the end phase. You could play Illinoides to pop a card, and then Canadia will chain off of that to special summon itself. And then, boom, just like that. And then next turn you draw. Okay, another Ash Blossom. If you don't want you definitely don't want these cards to get banished too much, so you just overlay them and just go into your totally awesome, and boom. That's like really all this deck's just gonna keep doing is like you disrupt, and then you just keep adding on to your strategy. And on the standby phase, you could just discard or detach one, summon another frog from the deck, and so on. All right, so let me go and shuffle everything back, and then let's see what we can get this time around. So, like, yeah, Frog is just like, it's a really weird but very fun deck to work with, especially because, like, it's just like one of those underrated rogue strategies. In fact, I don't see why not many people play this anymore. Like, I still think it's a viable option to run. Like, heck, I know someone from my locals who still plays Spiral Phantasms, and that deck is still really strong too. Like, and it's super low budgeted. So, yeah. Because, like, as I mentioned in the deck profile, this deck's really not that expensive. In fact, the most expensive card in this entire deck, with extra deck included, is just going to be the Totally Awesomes. But overall, like, I think this deck you probably get it for like maybe 100 to 120 bucks tops. All right, so let's see what our next opening hand is. Okay, Swap Frog again, Canadia. Ooh, Trap Trek. Trap Trek's always nice to have. another trap trick, which unfortunately it's only a hard once per turn, and we got Dude Frog this time. Okay, so there's 2 things you can go about doing this. So if anything, I'll probably go ahead and first normal summon the Swap Frog. That way you can at least dump a frog to the grave. Okay, so as always go for that Ronin Totem. And then you're going to go use Swap Frog's effect to bounce him back to the hand, and then you get to normal summon an additional frog if you want to, but we're not going to do it that way. So instead, we're actually going to go ahead and use this effect to discard Dude Frog in order to special. And I believe this is not a hard once per turn, so... No, it's not a hard once per turn, so yeah. You could just use this effect to dump yet another frog. If anything, you just go for like another Ronin Totem, that way you always have one as backup. Alright. And then you're going to go and use Ronin Totem's effect. Either one is fine. Like, either way, you're going to get access to a frog. We're going to banish Dude Frog to special. And if you want to, you can actually link off these two. That way you have another frog in the grave. That way you can just banish and go from there. But let's see here. Okay. But if anything, I'm actually just going to go straight into... we're actually just going to go to Totally Awesome, just like that. Yeah, only because, like, next standby phase, we can summon out another Dude Frog. And if it's sent to the grave, you could easily add back one of your frogs, in which case the one you'll detach with Totally Awesome's effect is going to be Swap Frog, since we already got Ronin. So, yeah, just sit on that Totally Awesome. Set your back row. Just go, yeah, Trap Trick, Canada, and Trap Trick. So... yeah, and then you end your turn on your opponent's standby, you detach one to special summon a Dude Frog. Dude Frog is usually the best choice to go about it. And yeah, and plus your opponent can only attack the Dude Frog. Oops, shit. I accidentally dropped some cards. Anyway, yeah, you generally go into Dude Frog. It's just there for defensive purposes. Whenever your opponent activates an effect, use Totally Awesome's effect to just send the Dude Frog to the grave. Just to negate, and if you want to, you can reset that card to your side of the field, and then Dude Frog's effect will trigger, letting you add back your Swap Frog. So, and we still got some other forms of disruption. You got the Canada, which is still Book of Moon. You can activate Trap Trick at later on. Now, unfortunately, like I said, it's only a hard once per turn. So, like, let's say you did Book of Moon, your opponent, and then you play Trap Trick later to banish a trap card and set one of the same name. I'd probably just go compulsory. And of course, Canada's effect will trigger off, well, you could chain off a Canada with the Trap Trick, or if you want, you could just wait on it, and then during your opponent's end phase or whatever, he still has a monster on board, you could pulse, chain with Canada will bring itself back, and yeah, that's generally all you keep doing. Is like, it's just almost an endless cycle of trap cards, frogs, and trap cards. Like, that's really all this deck's just going to keep doing, so... But like I said, very fun deck. Definitely something to try out. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But definitely give it a shot if you have a chance to get it. So, yeah. Alright guys, that's all I got for you guys today. And as always, I'll catch you guys again next time.